What's up, y'all? I wasn't gonna do this, but the more I thought about it, the more that I feel like I should. I made that video, this video going to come up while I was at work today. I did some map study, and the more I thought about it, I'm predicting that the tournament is going to be won in the guts of those pockets that has water coming into it. Because what happens is, like, this is the bank. There'll be, the water levels here, with the bank, and then there'll be a little deep spot, like right there. I've noticed on some of those ditches or those guts in the pockets. And if that water's coming in, them bass would be right there. I'm really, really confident that this will be one in those pockets. So be sure to throw at the point, left and right of it, and into the pocket. But see, there's the thing though. If you don't see anything on scope and you don't get bit within a couple casts, move on. Don't sit around and make 10, 12 casts. If they're not there and they're not biting, they're not worth. Even if you see some, but you do want to make a couple casts. Even if you don't see anything, they might be on the bottom where your live scope don't pick it up. But 3 or 4 at the most. I wouldn't go 4. And then, like, if you're at a point, bam, 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 pocket, bam, 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 bam. Both of you all, this is one, this is the other. And then on to the next one. Point, point, pocket, pocket, point, point, pocket, pocket. All the way down that whole thing. And if you see any wood in that whatsoever, I'm not saying sit there for 10, 15 minutes. I'm saying, pitch a jig, pitch a creature bait in that wood, just to keep it honest, because you never know. A big one might be in there, and that might, that could make a big difference, let's put it that way. But you never want to pass up wood, you never want to pass up the guts, and you never want to pass up a point. Any of those little knobs that stick out on that map, fair game. And the little parts that go in the pockets, even the big long pockets. I'm talking about the big long pockets and the small ones, the secondary points that are inside the main body there. That's just my personal prediction. But well, let's get on to the video. Enjoy. Good luck, guys.
What's up, y'all? This is going to be what I would do if I was going to fish Laurel Lake on Saturday. So this is basically what it looks like, and you can tell it looks very, very similar to Cumberland. So keep in mind when you get to Cumberland, kind of keep some of the same things I'm going to tell you in. I'm gonna do a separate video of Cumberland, but this is just saying this is very, very similar. This is where y'all going to be going out at. That's Grove Marina, obviously. So what I'm going to have you all do is we're going to focus on the upper main part of the water. Okay. So whenever y'all pull out of here, I'm going to have y'all drive big motor, obviously, up to about right there. This creek right here. I'm not saying to fish this creek. I just want you to get up to this point, to about right here, and then this is where you're gonna start fishing. This is where I would start fishing. Okay. That point, and what you're gonna look for is runoffs, because it's gonna be raining. More than likely, hopefully y'all don't get thunderstormed out or whatever. But the amount of rain that we've gotten the past few days, there's gonna be runoff. So any of these right here, water is going to be coming into them like that. So it's gonna muddy the water up just a little bit. So what you're gonna do, there's gonna be a mud line in these pockets. So if the mud line is like right there, you want to cast into the mud and bring it back to the clear water. Okay? That's going to be the main things that you focus on throughout this whole entire thing. Fish the points, or the rounded points, the little nubs that stick out, and the pockets that have a mud line. And even if they don't have a mud line, it's still good too, because I'm hoping, not this pocket specifically, but I'm hoping that you'll find one of those pockets that's got a big school of shad that's just suspended right here in the middle of the water column. But you'll probably have to have some kind of structure around it, some laydowns, a drop off, or some rocks or something for that to happen. But anyway, let's get down to this thing. And this whole thing right here, I'm gonna have y'all go down this entire bank, hitting these points, hitting these pockets, hitting these points, hitting these pockets, hitting these points. That's going to be the main thing. You're just looking for bait fish. So if you can find the bait fish, there's going to be some bass around that area somewhere, whether it's on a structure or a laydown that's on the bank somewhere, or it doesn't show laydowns and stuff on this thing. This is Omnia app, if anybody's wondering. But if you see a laydown on the bank, you definitely want to throw a jig or a creature bait in there. And I'm going to go over baits later on after I do the map part. But you definitely want to have a jig or a creature bait, something you can pitch and flip around into these laydowns. Because what's going to happen is, let's just use this for an example. Let's just say that looks pretty good right there, actually. There's a big flatter bank right here. Okay. And you got about 35 foot of water, where our target range is going to be 10 to 25 feet. So let's just say there is a school of shad that's suspended off the end of this point. And then let's just say there's a big ass log right here in the water, or a big laydown in the water. There's going to be some bass that are just chilling in there, waiting for when they get hungry to go eat these bad boys right here. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying that's going to be on here, or that's what's going to happen on this specific point. Or they'll be staged in this. This is a really, really steep bank right here. I think in the mornings, this will be probably where you get bit first, I'd say. Because this is a very, very steep bank, and in the mornings, I don't know what the weather's going to be. I think the water temperature right now is like 45 degrees, so I don't know if all this rain's going to make the water temperature go up or not, but that right here is what I want you to mainly, where I think you're going to get bit first. Even though I do want you to fish all those points and coves leading up to this part. And this bank right here, or this point right here, for 1,000%, and I'll tell you why, is it's got these steep angles right here. They're really, really steep. And this time of year, bass will stage there. I don't know if this is a spawning pocket or not, but it could be, because it's a southern facing bank, and traditionally these banks warm up the fastest, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This is Omnia. Like I said, if you go into maps, it'll have like vegetation, bottom hardness. Okay, we're going to go to bottom hardness. See where all the hard spots are? These are considered semi-hard, these ones right here. The bass will still use those though. And then if they use this part right here for a spawning bay, or not a spawning bay, but a staging area, like this whole bank right here, it's pretty steep until you get to about right here. They'll use this to spawn on, because it's so clear they don't have to spawn in like 2-3 foot of water. They can spawn at 8-10 foot of water if they wanted to. But then we're going to go back to the water temperature, because it gets pretty warm over here on the southern part of this bank. You can see some 51s in there, some 45s. You see a lot of, and I'll get to those yellow parts here in a second, because those are very important here in a minute. But that's that. And then the water clarity, that's kind of it's not always accurate. And then it shows vegetation. This lake is not known for vegetation, so I'm going to kind of ignore that. But the reason I want you to start up here right here is so in case there is grass there, bass will use that. So don't think just because this isn't a grass lake that fish won't use that, because they will. Okay, let's go back to depth charts. These are freshly, but yeah, you're good. Let me go get this out again. You're going to continue, and you're going to go. You're going to hit these points, and you're going to go down this bank and fish anything you see on this bank that looks good. Laydowns, whatever. You may not see anything. If not, that's fine too. Always be on the lookout for shad. But these right here are Christmas trees that Kentucky Fish and Wildlife has put into the water. And the good part about it is it's right there in our range, 10 to 20 something feet. And it's on the end of a point, a rounded point, right there. And it could potentially be adjacent to a spawning pocket, right here or right here. So that's a good thing. But there's some more up here that we're going to get to in a little bit. But I want y'all to fish this entire bank right here. Just looking and throwing at whatever you see that looks good. The clearer the water, you want to stay a little bit further off the bank. The dirtier the water, you want to be close to the bank. And if it's stained, you can kind of be in the middle. Like I said, I don't know what the water clarity is going to look like, so it's going to be, when you get there, you just got to look at it. And there was something over here. Yeah, this flat right here. They could be. Here's another little spawning pocket that could potentially, they could spawn in any of that. But what I'm saying is, over this deeper water in this flat right here, you could have, a school of shad or whatever. But definitely be on the lookout for shad, 1000%. And then there was another place in here I seen it was pretty good. Oh, there it is. There is a little bit of a rise. Let's get off of that. A rise right there. Y'all see that? 22. These shad and alewife, I didn't realize that until I did some more research, that alewife are in this lake as well. So I don't know how they're different from shad, but they act just like shad. They'll suspend over that big hump right there. Well, I can't call it a hump, but it kind of is, because you got 30-something feet on this side, 60 feet on this side, and then there's the drop-off right there. So definitely you want to check that out for sure. Yeah, I want you to fish this entire bank all the way down. And when you get down to here, there's going to be some points I want you to definitely look at. This one being that one right there, and that one right there. This one is a really, really sharp point, and it's got deep water on both sides of it, which is a good thing. And then you've got your spawning bay potentially on the southern banks. Let's see, and then this one right here for sure. Not for any specific reason, but I do like that they have a big high spot in the middle of this point right there. Those shad could be suspended off the end of that hump on both sides of it, either way. And then once you get down into this area, it gets pretty narrow. And this is where I want to show, yeah. There's these little rises out here. See where it says 10 foot right there? That's a big little hump. There's another little hump. We're going to go into this one first, because this one looks really, really good, because it's right on the end of a point. Those shad will get up in there and suspend off the end of that point. Those bass will be close if they are there. I promise you. They are not stupid. They will be where the food is. So if you don't see shad, don't spend a whole lot of time there. And after that, I don't see any reason to go any further. I mean, there is reason to go further, but there's other things I want you Because by this time, I don't know what time it's going to be, but hopefully y'all have a limit by now. I'm hoping that you have a limit. And I'll tell you that part, this part right here, is the part I think y'all will get the limit on. Or not limit, but you will... I think y'all will get y'all's first bite right here. I really do. In the morning, before you start down this bank. So hopefully you can get a couple, 2, 3 off of that side. But this narrows down really, really bad. So if y'all don't see any shad down here by now, by the time you get to right here, definitely start hitting all these points on this side, all these little knobs sticking out. Anything you see that's good, throw at it. All these little points, all this stuff. And this rounded point can be good sometimes too. And just keep in mind, you're looking for those runoffs where water is running into the lake and muddying the water, muddying up these whatever the hell you want to call them, the coves right here, these little pockets. Once you get up to this point right here, which is where we left off last, well, I can't say that. I did this once before, but I didn't have the microphone on, and I ended right here. I had to go back inside. That was on break. But once you get right to this point right here, you're going to cut across. You're going to cut across. I want you to check this area right here just to be sure that there's no shad in there. But the main thing I want you to look at is these Christmas trees right here, and I'll explain why. Especially these two right here. This one and that one. There's a big flat right here, and shad could be suspended or, on it somewhere. Those bass will sit in these Christmas trees waiting for either an opportunity to eat or waiting for them to go want to eat, and then they'll come out and go up on this flat and start feeding. That's going to be a key part. You're not going to be alone doing this, so keep in mind if somebody's in there, you'll just have to skip it, or you could shoot back across the lake and fish these other two Christmas trees right here and wait for them to go. If not, it's no big deal, but you definitely do want to hit those. And you want to hit all these little coves, back in these coves, see if there's any water running into them, check and see if there's shad in there. And if there is, it's game on. And this little area right here, I do like, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a break right here, meaning there's water, or the bottom is going out gradually, and then it breaks off. That break is like right there. You definitely want to look at that. 1,000%. There will be either a bass there or shad there. But we're not really going to get that fancy. I'm just going to have y'all hit points, rounded points, and all the way back around this area right here. You're just going to keep on going and hit all these little points and any laydowns you see all the way back to the marina. I don't know how long this is going to take you, but if you do get to this point right here, these three, you definitely want to hit those for sure. These 3 points right here, and the cove leading into them, if you can see shad in there. I think by now, if it's raining, it's not going to matter about the sun, but I was going to say if the sun comes out, they'll probably be on some of that stuff for sure. But basically, you can just take what I told you, just running points and laydowns all the way up and down these banks. You don't really have to get fancy with it, because I'm pretty damn sure everybody's going to be doing that exactly. I don't really, like I said, I don't know this lake that well, other than what I've researched on it so far. But mainly it's the points and these steep banks that seem to produce. So that's what I'm going to have you all do. Like I said about the water clarity, that's going to be key. because these fish are not used to it being muddy or stained. So hopefully that it's already stained or muddy. That way, when you get there, they're more accustomed to it versus it being just all of a sudden muddy or stained, because it's going to be a difficult day if that's the case. So hopefully this is already stained. I'll try to do some more research and see if I can figure out what the water clarity is on Laurel as of right now. Omnia does not have that on there, whether the water's stained or not, but we can look at it real quick. See, it's showing your water clarity right here. And man, it doesn't show to be, anything crazy. So we're gonna go with it being clear right now. So that looks pretty good too. That island right there. If y'all get time, definitely hit that bad boy up right there. 1,000%. Like the end of the day or something. Like I said, I don't know how long it's going to take y'all to get around this area. But let's go over it one more time just to kind of see if we can. We'll kind of do it like that. Start fishing there. All along here. All along there. All those points I was talking about. When you get down here, go back up this way and then cut across, hit those trees, and you're going to hit all these points, and then you're going to eventually go over. And if you can, if y'all get down to this point, down this way, definitely hit that right there for sure. Because, this time of year, I can't make myself believe that especially if the water's 45 degrees, I can't make myself believe that they're doing any more than they would in late winter. Like, it's in March, but I don't think they're going to be actually staging in spawning areas. They're going to be a little bit further back than people might think because the water's so cold. But they are on the move that way. So just keep that in mind. I don't know what the wind's going to be doing. We're going to be, let's see if I can, they got wind direction on here, but I don't know if it will go that, it might. Let's see. Oh, it's the wrong one. Duh. Okay. 24-hour forecast, 3-day forecast. So we're at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So it's going to be blowing north. Looks like majority of the day. Yeah, it's going to be blowing straight north. Fairly at about 13, 14, 15 mile an hour, something like that. It's not too bad. So that's a good thing. What's going to happen is I'm hoping that that works out in your all's favor for sure. Because once it kind of warms up a little bit, these areas over here are going to be more productive, I believe. These areas over here, they're going to be more productive, especially these trees right here, just to get that wind blowing in there. And then you got the wind blowing on that right there too, on top of that. So that's definitely another good one with the way the wind's blowing. But anyway, this is that's what I would do if I were you all. So I really hope it works out, and you should be catching some fish out of this area that I've picked out for y'all. And please feel free to, if you see something different, please feel free to do whatever. You know what I mean? If you see something that looks really, really good, definitely check that out. So I looked all in here and I couldn't make myself believe. I mean, there's some good looking stuff in here, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like if you're going to go on a loop, the what I suggested would probably be the best way to do it, in my opinion. All the way down. Keep in mind, you're always looking for shad, always. And then back to the ramp. That's what I would do. And good luck, boys. I really hope y'all do well.